What's up, Buttercup? I'm Pam Barnes, marketing expert.
And I'm Hannah Cox, business strategist.
And this is the Go Getter Gals podcast,
where everyday gals grow together and you'll find resources to help you grow personally and professionally.
What's up, Buttercup? My name is Pam Barnes. This is Miss Hannah Cox, and we are going to be talking about raising your value without guilt.
Yes, I feel like that's a common theme in our episodes as we're talking about the curse that women have where we always feel guilty for prioritizing ourselves and we always apologize for showing up and taking up space. And this is an extension of that topic. We're just going to, instead of talking about awareness around how women feel, we're going to talk about how to actually take the steps to increase your self-worth and value without the guilt.
Yes, and we're going to talk about money too, because money is like this big thing, right? That some of us, like me, where we put money on this like pedestal where we can't reach. It's such a pain in the butt sometimes. Or some people, like I have some friends of mine that chase after money and they get it too, kind of thing. But as stay-at-home moms and as women and as just people in society, sometimes we have a weird relationship with money and a weird relationship with our value and our self-worth. So that's what this podcast is about today, is just to kind of break the walls of that weird relationship where you can grow without shame and you can learn new skills and grow your self-worth without feeling guilty.
Yeah, and I think it's important to kind of clarify what it means to raise your value because you kind of brought up money a little bit. You know, we're talking about confidence and showing up unapologetically. So, what I feel like we're not talking about is we're not talking about becoming more worthy as a person. Like you as a person are worthy to show up and experience life. So, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to be talking about how you can become better than other people. We're talking about your self-worth, not being better or being the best. And, you know, while we are talking about money, I don't think that we want this episode to be about attaching your identity to your income. So keep that stuff in mind for sure.
We tend to do that in society, right? Like who has the nicest car? What is it? What is that saying? Competing with the Joneses kind of thing?
Keeping up with the Joneses, yeah.
Yeah, that. It's more of like, who are you and what do you want in life? And how do you build yourself to that self-worth of being that person? Jim Rohn says it, and Zig Ziglar, and all these people say it. You must become to have. So what is it? What value of your self-worth are you trying to achieve?
Right. So that means that we're going to be talking about learning, growing, building your confidence, increasing your skills, becoming financially aware, improving your communication, emotional growth. Really, the point is, as we go into this episode, that you should keep in mind is that you are already worthy. Raising your value just expands your options in life.
Yes, yes. It takes courage and confidence and raising your value to walk into a room that you know you want to be part of and you want to be friends with those people and you want to have those nice things. It takes that and raising your self-worth and your self-value to walk into that room to begin with. And that's why a lot of women don't walk into those rooms, because they don't remind themselves they're already worthy enough to be in that room. It's society and your self-talk and all that stuff that's telling you that you're not worthy. And that's kind of what we're talking about today, and helping you with some tools and tips and tricks and all the fun stuff to be able to walk into those rooms that you know you belong in.
Right. Okay. So then, Pam, tell me, why do you think that women feel guilty just investing in themselves?
Oh my goodness, because we're givers, right? We've talked about this many, many times, but we're givers. And to be able to invest that time in ourselves instead of our kids, or invest that time in ourselves instead of our husbands, We're wanting to do a class for educational, which by the way, there's Coursera. Let me just stop for a second. There is Coursera. It's like $60 a month, and you can take infinite amount of classes, right? But you want to take this online course, and they're having a live teacher from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Well, that's dinner time. You know what I mean? And it's like, how am I supposed to value myself above my family and make that time for myself without feeling guilty?
Right. And I think that that's really important because you're talking about expanding education, which I am such a big advocate for. I think that people kind of consider getting a high school diploma, a GED, a college degree as like that's getting educated, but really just sitting in on someone's lecture, a business talk, going and getting on an online platform like Coursera or Udemy, paying for a subscription, Skillshare, things like that. Education comes in so many different formats and could mean anything from a formal education to just learning a new skill that would make you happy, that could help you with a hobby. Like that's investing in yourself. And I know personally, my biggest struggle right now with investing in myself actually has to do with fitness. You know, I hear it, I say it, so I hear it for myself too, that I just don't have time because I have two small children and I own a business and I also have a job and I have a husband and I have to cook dinner and I have to do groceries and laundry has to get done and my house is a mess. And when my house is a mess, I'm mentally just scattered and that makes everything harder and it makes everything take longer. And so what do you mean I have to go get in my car and drive somewhere for an hour and then drive back and lose 2 hours of my day to work out? What do you mean? But that is something that I'm trying to figure out a way to invest in myself with the least friction possible. You know, I might need to invest in a app like Apple Fitness and do video fitness, or just get on YouTube and watch YouTube dance videos and just dance, do Zumba on YouTube. I don't know. I have to move more because my job is always at a desk, and that in itself is a form of investment in yourself. It doesn't always have to take money to invest in yourself. You can do it for free. Time investment is increasing your self-worth as well.
Yes. Yes, I love that you shared that because that relates to so many women. Like, how in the world am I able to work out, especially after you have a kid and that baby is strapped to you constantly? So I love that you brought this up because there's so many women that lose a lot of muscle mass, including me, guys. Like, I may be skinny, but it's because I can't eat anything, like at all. Dairy, gluten, cheese. Well, cheese is dairy, but I love cheese. And chocolate. Like, it's ridiculous. So just because I'm skinny, my muscle mass is bad because I haven't worked out since my kids, which stinks. But that is the reality of it. Like, we need muscle mass. Our hormones need muscle mass, and we just don't do it. And I love that you brought that up because every single woman relates to that 110%. And I love that you brought up to make it easier, more tangible. I know that's not the exact words you said, but it is. We need to make like easy steps to make it more achievable. But we got to take the time to create the plan to do that. But here's the thing I want you to take from this. It only takes one step in the right direction to get you on track to be able to do these things. We are taught as women to pour into other people, and we have got to pour into ourselves so we can have that self-worth. We don't have to have the big muscles unless we want to. Okay. And here's another one. My husband joined the military. I know I've said this before, but here's another example of ways that you can increase your value. Just simple things and not sacrifice your time with your kids is my husband's in the military, and I've been hanging out with all these military moms, and they are like super moms, guys. They have it all together, which I'm giving them a false identity. We do not all have it together, right? But for the most part, they got it together. And they're, kids in all kinds of different activities and doing all this stuff. And man, they are money managing, like to a T. And that's one thing that you can do, especially if you're a new mom and you're like, how can how can we be financially stable and I could still do all this stuff and stay at home with the kids and do all of these things. You can learn financial skills and take that little time while you're breastfeeding and doing all of these things to be able to improve on your budgeting, to be able to do these amazing things with your kids, like take them on little tiny vacations, stay at the home and do little pool days. And I mean, there's so many things. There are so many opportunities in the community to be able to do things with your kids, especially homeschool kids. And there's free homeschool communities you can be part of where you can still do all of that and not have to sacrifice a lot of time with your kids and a lot of time from yourself, because a lot of these moms that I'm talking to, like their value, their self-worth is tied all in their kids. That is not me, by the way. That is not me. But it's beautiful to see. And if that is you, figure out those little tiny skills that you can do. Well, I'm saying tiny. They're not tiny. They're absolutely not tiny, but invest in yourself in that time to where you can spend more time with your kids and you can do more things with your kids. And it's not taking away from them. If they're like, Mommy, why aren't you doing X, Y, and Z with me? It's because Mommy's taking this class from 3 to 5 or 5 to 8 so I can learn more on budgeting so we can go to Disney in 4 years or whatever kind of thing. So I mean, maybe not 4 years, but that's my goal.
And I don't want to I feel like both of us have such a passion for growth and improvement, self-improvement, that we kind of just ran off the rails a little bit straight out the gate, talking about all these things we can do. I do kind of want to slow down a little bit and say, going back to why women feel guilty in the first place, what are some of the examples of guilt that we might feel as women? And maybe a fun little game we can do is come up with something to combat that. Like something like, okay, moms feel guilty for putting themselves first. So what is something that a woman could do as a mother who's always putting everyone else first and always putting herself last? What is something achievable and small is okay? Something, just a step in the direction of, this is just for mom. That could be, I bought this specific type of chocolate that I love and it's just for mom. Dad doesn't get any. Kids don't get any. They don't even know it exists or it's in the house. It's a special little hiding spot. And when things get crazy, it's just for mom. That's an example that you might be like, Hannah, that's nothing. But it is. It's a moment in time where you're putting yourself first. Even if it's just a minute where you go and you get a piece of chocolate and you just eat it. And then that's it. And then you go back to putting everyone else first. I know that we have lots of examples where we can talk about feeling guilty for needing rest or for wanting to prioritize your career even after motherhood.
Yes.
Setting boundaries with family members can be really hard and make you feel really guilty. So I don't know, do you have an example that you think you could share of, it doesn't have to be you, Pam, but of a woman who feels guilty for a specific reason and something they can do to combat that?
Oh, here's one. Going shopping alone. Leaving your husband at home and going shopping alone. That used to be my favorite thing to do when my littles were little. I would not take them with me. I would just go and just peruse for hours. And it was just the best thing ever. But I like to shop. Some people don't like to shop. So if you don't like to shop, go get a massage or go get your nails done. why not get your nails done? Like, I don't, because I don't like chemicals, but I have a friend of mine, she goes and gets her nails done every week. Like, she's like, this is my thing and nobody's touching it.
I love that. I feel like a massage. I don't get my nails done either. I sometimes I do, or I'll just do them myself. But a massage is my like favorite thing to go do for myself, and it can be kind of pricey, but so much a part of my identity as far as like this is Hannah's favorite me time that I will get that's a Christmas gift from like my brother and my parents and like people who know me and love me will be like, "Well, I'm going to get this certificate to this specific day spa that Hannah goes to get her massages done so that she doesn't have to pay for them." And that's her me time throughout the year. I still have one that I need to use that I got for Christmas.
And that removes the guilt of spending money on yourself. So therefore, you don't have to worry about that. And when people ask, what would you like? Is there something you want for Mother's Day? If there's something you want for your birthday, ask for a gift certificate to whatever makes you feel good and your self-worth goes up. Because we feel good when we look good, or we think we look good. For instance, yesterday I got this dress. Okay. Somebody gifted me this dress, by the way. In line, I was like shopping for this dress, and that's what I do. I buy me a nice dress, not super expensive. It was $15, but that's what I do for myself when I'm feeling down or feeling like I need a little pick me up. I go buy me a nice dress or a nice shirt or a nice pair of pants or whatever. And so I'm in line, and this lady buys my dress. And you know what? I get so many compliments on that flippin' dress because I'm glowing when I wear that dress because it looks so good on me. I feel happy. I feel like it's me. And is it the most expensive dress? Absolutely not. It was free, but it was $15. But this wonderful woman bought it for me, kind of thing. So yeah, that's one thing I just really want to talk about is the guilt of spending money on ourselves, especially moms that have a small budget, because they want to stay at home with their kids. And we can talk about here in a minute, like different things that they can do for like small little business sides. Because Hannah, you got all kinds of ideas for that to help those moms make a little extra money on the side so they can do some more things with their kids if they want to stay at home kind of situation. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. Do not feel guilty for spending just a little bit on yourself. It's not that bad.
Yeah, and stop saying I don't need anything when people ask what to get you for your birthday. Be brave and say a gift certificate to the spa or whatever you want. A gift certificate to your favorite restaurant. Just say it. They can give you $5 or $50. That's up to them. But if they want to give you a gift, stop being modest like, "Oh, I don't need it. I don't need anything. I'm happy."
Hey gals, if you love what you're hearing and you want to get more involved, because trust me, I love Go Getter Gals. I'm obsessed with it. If you love this podcast as much as we do, all you have to do is go on our Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, and we're under Go-Getter Gals. We are going to have all of our episodes on the podcast link on our website at go-gettergals.com. Thank you for allowing me to interrupt for just a second. We look forward to continuing to help you grow. Without further ado, here's the Go Getter Gals podcast.
This is something that if you're a business owner, you probably already have a finger on the pulse of your business, your finances, and opportunities that you could find to increase your income. So really, I want to talk about the stay-at-home moms and also women who have jobs. But aren't business owners, because I think that there are lots of ways that you can supplement your income, and it doesn't have to be supplementing your income. Okay, so for stay-at-home moms, I think one really great way to make more money available in your household is to budget. I think that there's a lot of us who don't have the budgeting education or skill because we didn't grow up in a house that did that, or we kind of make just enough money that we kind of are able to live life paycheck to paycheck, or maybe there's a little wiggle room there, so you go out to eat. Like you live comfortably but not abundantly, And I know some people like to live abundant. I like to live abundantly. I like to not only have all my bills paid, but I also like to go do things and be able to pay for dinners for my friends and also invest money in my long-term wealth. I want to be able to do all of that. And that's really difficult depending on where you live and this current economy. I can't
Yes.
just every meal that I go and have with a friend or an associate, I can't always pay the bill. And that's what I want to be able to do. I want to cover every bill that I invite someone to. So I think budgeting is a skill that you can self-teach, or you can go onto an online free or very cheap YouTube. I forgot the name of the one you said, Coursera.
Coursera. So Coursera is $60 a month, but there are a lot of programs like Wave and Intuit, like you pay per month, and then there's people that you can literally talk to teach you how to do it, or there's YouTube. Like I've taught myself everything that I know when it comes to marketing, and 95% of what I learned is on YouTube. Because I
Yeah.
started my business before Claude and before ChatGPT and before all of this stuff. Now, I mean, you can learn a business so quick. You can have Claude manage your life, guys, and you don't have to give them access to your life, which is kind of interesting. I always thought that you had to like give them access to all kinds of stuff. No, you can create just a folder. It has access to just that folder, and then you can teach it your life, tell it your budget, tell it your, all that stuff, and be like, okay, well, where am I at? And then there's Wave that's free, and it shows you like how much you've spent over, how much money you didn't spend, and stuff like that. So there's so much out there nowadays to help you with your budgeting and your financial literacy that you're a leg up, really, compared to what it was like, 5 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean that you even have to, because I know that when you talk about Claude, and like having a project and teaching it, that is an extra cost. You do have to pay for those features, but YouTube is still free. And there are free versions of LLMs that can help you with doing research on things and finding stuff. But the point is, it's more of a time investment than a money investment to really change your life. And financial literacy at the basic level of personal finance it's the most valuable thing that you could possibly provide yourself with. Because like I said, it doesn't require you to bring any additional income into your household to change how much money you get to spend month to month, because you just have the finger on the pulse of your finances. But if you do feel like, as a stay-at-home mom, you need some additional source of income, let's say you did your finances, your budgeting, and you're like, yeah, but if I want to live the life I want to live, we need X amount more money a month.
Yeah.
Then I think that, and I'll just rapid fire some ideas. The point is that there are ways for you to build an income stream around your life as it is currently without having to be like, what am I going to do for childcare? I can't get another job. You could sell your hobbies. You could provide childcare to other moms that you know of. They can bring their kids to your house and pay you for that. There are ways to make additional income without having to put your kids in daycare and go get a job.
Yes, yes. Another thing that you can do is increase your network and your community. Here's something that we devalue as women when it comes to connection. And again, I'm going to push this in every single podcast because it's so important to connect with other women. And I have a story that really brings it home. Like, if there is not a networking women's community around you, that's fine, create it. But also, there's mom communities, there's homeschool communities. Like, it doesn't have to be just growth oriented. You're going to grow just by being around other women and hearing their stories. I moved here in the military, and there's this community here that meets every Thursday, and we just connect as moms. And I was having a hard day yesterday because my husband's going to have to be away from us for 4 months. We just recently found this out. And I've been dealing with health stuff, and it's a lot. And I went to this meeting and I was just down. And I had two moms come to me and just talk to me and be like, is there anything we can do? How can we, help you process all of this? And I was like, I just need a minute. But the fact of just being in that room with those women, or we were at a pool, but still being in the presence of those women and just hearing the conversations and not being alone in it, it pulled me out of it. And my value and my self-worth was outside of my situation that I was dealing with. I wasn't that circumstance. I was Pam Barnes again, the person that's always bubbly and laughing and happy. And you are the sum of the people that you hang out with. If you want to grow yourself and your value, start putting yourself in rooms that, one, you belong in. Okay, you may not feel like you do, but you do. And the people around you may not feel like you do, because people, we're tribe people, right? You've got to show that you belong there. And once you show you belong there by walking in there with confidence, by talking to people, you can't just sit there and look at people and like, why isn't anybody talking to me? That's not usually how that works, guys. But doing that and pushing your boundaries and showing healthy boundaries, by the way, healthy boundaries, showing yourself internally that I belong in places that I want to be in. Here's the thing that a lot of people talk about in religion and all this stuff. If you have a calling here, it's there. It's you, and you belong there. So stop talking yourself out of it is a big one. Community is so important when it comes to confidence in your hobbies, in your financial literacy, and growing yourself and increasing your value. And it's an easy one. I mean, it's not easy, but it's free. It doesn't cost you anything most of the time to walk into the room or talk to the woman that you want to talk to be friends with. It literally is just that vulnerability part that you got to break through kind of thing.
And honestly, that relates to, we were talking about stay-at-home moms, but that networking and putting yourselves in a tribe, finding a tribe, creating a tribe, whether it's a book club or a networking group, having people, a mommy group, that's something that benefits you, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you work a 9-to-5, whether you are a business owner. And like, shameless plug on Go Getter Gals, but since joining Go Getter Gals, my confidence has gone through the roof. I've made more money. I have done more things outside of my comfort zone, and I have made more connections with amazing people than I have my entire adult life. All because I decided to commit to showing up even when I didn't feel like it, and be in a room and support people. Because I will tell you, we have two meetings. We have like the Enterprise Alabama meeting and the Dothan meeting, and I live in Enterprise, but I will drive to the Dothan meeting. I go to both, and that's a 45-minute drive for me. And I will tell you, there are lots of times on the road where I'm driving and it's rush hour after work and traffic's horrible, and I'm like, oh my God, I kind of don't want to go tonight. I wish I would have just stayed home. But I'm on my way, and I'm going to keep going. And then I get in that room and a switch flips, and I'm just energized, and I'm happy, and I'm excited to talk to these women, and just, this is what you need. You have to show up for yourself, and part of investing in your self-worth is doing the hard things, like stepping out of your comfort zone to join a network. And we talked about stay-at-home moms. I also want to talk about women who have jobs. I say 9-to-5 because that's kind of what it's called. But obviously there are women who are working night shifts, overnight shifts, weekend shifts, part-time, full-time, whatever they have to do to make ends meet. And I think that I wanted to also give some examples for those women on how they can increase their finances, whether it's communication skills, investing in like learning how to communicate better, getting certifications that qualify you for promotions, learning how to negotiate your pay when that's appropriate, and how to do it with confidence, and this is for everybody, but invest your money. Don't just put it in a savings account. Learn how to invest. That is so important. And it is the secret to creating wealth for your family and for generations to come. It's not enough to just work. You guys have to invest money too.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love that you brought that up. I love that you brought that up because Jim Rohn talks about that a lot, and Zig Ziglar. And Zig Ziglar has, no, it's Jim Rohn. I don't know. One of them. They were talking about, he was getting coached and getting mentored by this millionaire. And he said, well, they don't pay me enough. And he said, no, you are not valued enough. And he was like, huh. So here's the thing. A lot of us get stuck in jobs because we like it. We like the good things, but there's also a roof over our heads. There's a block, like whether it's money, whether it's not being able to move up because of certain things, like hierarchy is one of them. Improving your communication skills, telling your command, the people ahead of you, sorry, I'm military, telling them what you need. People are not mind readers, guys. They're not. They are not mind readers. If you don't tell them what is going on and what you want and how you want to be an asset to this business, they don't know. Work ethic is not enough anymore. What's his name? Tony Robbins says this, that there are more people broke from degrees in our day and age than ever before, because everybody can get a degree now. Like, it's pretty tangible to get a degree. It's easy. Well, it's not easy, but you know what I mean? Like, it's well known that a lot of people have degrees and most of them don't use them. I don't use mine, kind of situation. So a degree isn't enough anymore. Work ethic isn't enough anymore. It's, how are you communicating your needs and what you want? Have you ever walked up to your boss and be like, I would like to be able to be a manager? Most of us don't do that. We just assume the hard work is going to get us there, and that's not always the case.
Which honestly is the perfect segue, because we've been talking about and just throwing a bunch of examples at our audience today about how to improve your self-worth and how to invest in yourself and put yourself first. But the one thing that I feel like is a cautionary tale is the difference between growing and proving yourself. So when you talk about the difference between communicating to leadership that you have a desire to be in one of those positions versus just thinking the work is going to speak for itself, that is one of those like beware moments for me. Because to grow in a healthy way, I think that healthy growth comes from self-respect, having a vision in place. I talk about that all the time. You can't just be like, I'm going to be better. What does be better mean? What are you trying to achieve? You have to reverse engineer that. You know, being curious, wanting stability, not just saying it, but like having a desire for peace and stability in your life. Those are healthy. But if you are trying to finally feel good enough, or you really need validation, you're seeking it, you have to get your validation, or if you're comparing your results to the results of your peers at work or other mothers in the mothers group, if you are burning yourself out for the approval of leadership or of other people in your life because you want them to be proud of you, that's all great examples of how not to grow and like unhealthy versions of motivations for growth. I think I want to just have that out there, that there is a difference between the motivations that help you grow being healthy versus unhealthy. And you have to make sure you clock that when you're putting in all this work, that you're doing it for the right reasons.
For you. I think that is the perfect way to end it, lovely lady. Like, that is amazing. If this has been helpful, make sure to like and follow and stay for the next podcast because we launch them every Friday. And remember, money isn't everything, and what people value at you as isn't everything. What matters is what you feel inside and that you are helping yourself increase your internal value. That is what matters.
For our listeners on YouTube, I think it's really great. Engage with us in the comments section. Tell us one way that you want to grow this year in the comment section below. And we'll see you on the next one. Hey, gals. Thank you for listening to the Go Getter Gal podcast. All of the information for this episode can be found in the show notes. Make sure that you go and like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram, as well as subscribe to us on YouTube. And to find the latest episodes of the Go Getter Gal podcast, you can visit our website at go-gettergals.com. See you next time.